Right now, cold weather is on its way, and so is cold and flu season.
That's right. Trudgeon sits down with healthcare providers from Monarch Healthcare and learn more about treatment options and how to best prevent sickness during the fall and winter.
Cold and flu season is here, and how do we treat it? I'm here with healthcare providers Annie Skews and Lacey Williams of Monarch Healthcare in Marquette Township to talk more about that. So, Annie, first of all, what is the cold, what is the flu, and what's the difference?
So both the cold and the flu are viruses. They both affect the upper respiratory area of our body, but the big difference is with the flu, usually you're going to have fever, body aches, chills, along with like the cough, congestion, runny nose. And then with a common cold, it's usually from viruses that are always out in the public, but not usually have the fever and body aches, chills. So that's the biggest difference between the two.
Who can get a cold or a flu, and who are the most susceptible populations for either?
Absolutely. So anybody can get the flu, which is influenza, but there are a group of populations that are more susceptible to more severe complications. So that's going to be children under 2, adults that are older than 65 years old, people who have a poor immune system, people with chronic diseases like diabetes, and people who have cancer, and then anybody with any respiratory complications such as asthma or COPD, things like that.
So really anybody is susceptible to getting a cold or getting a flu. How can we prevent this from happening?
So hand hygiene is going to be the #1 thing. Make sure that you're washing your hands. If you have a cough or sneeze, make sure you're doing that kind of into the crook of your arm kind of thing. But the #1 way to prevent is to do the flu vaccine every year. Even though it's not always 100% effective, it's still going to help reduce symptoms for those severe complications, especially for that population we talked about. And then again, we have one of the #1 questions we get from people too is, does the flu vaccine cause the flu? So no, it absolutely does not. But there's a lot of reasons that you might get flu-like symptoms after you get the vaccine, and that can be your body's own response to the flu vaccine, creating some antibodies. So you might get some muscle aches or feverish for a day, and then it takes 2 weeks for the flu vaccine to actually become like fully effective. So in that 2-week time period, could you have contracted the flu or a cold? Absolutely. And may it just be the cold instead of a flu? Sure, they have similar symptoms that kind of go side by side. So it might be one of those few scenarios, but no, the flu vaccine does not actually give you the flu.
I know, I feel like that's a common hoax that a lot of people think about this time of year. So hand washing is the big thing, but even if you do wash your hands a lot, even if you do get the flu vaccine, like you said, you can still get the flu, you can still get a cold. So we are going to talk about treatment options in about 30 minutes.
And we'll check in with Tia for more of those tips, because I feel like, you know, it's flu season. Everyone always gets like a little bit of a bug, and if you can prevent that, never hurts, you know?
Right.
No one ever likes to be sick. I feel like allergies are bad enough, right?